fruitarian dinner today here in Norway. Peaches, mangoes, strawberries, and avocado. And as it turns out, and I kind of knew this was possible, even likely, the fruit was really not good. The strawberries were just kind of half sweet, not really that sweet. Most of the peaches were pretty poor, not very sweet. Some of them were very sweet, but you know, it's impossible to pick out the sweet ones. They're like 1 out of 10. Like 1 out of 10 peaches are actually sweet. The other ones are just like bland, and some of them are not even sweet at all. Mangoes, of course, were epic, and the avocado was kind of bad as well. But what happened was, after I ate the peaches and I got to the mangoes, it was almost like a reality check. Like, oh my god, this is what it's all about. I got used to eating the peaches. I was eating them, and I sort of got used to their sweet level, and it was kind of like, oh, yeah, you know. Then I got to the mango, and it was just like, oh my god, this is how it's supposed to be. This is what fruit is supposed to be. Not, you know, there's variation. Peaches aren't going to be as sweet as a mango, obviously, but still, the difference was just extreme. And this confirms to me, for the 376th time, or 2076th time, that fruit is a gamble. It's a hit and miss, as they say. You never know what you're gonna get. And I guess my point of this video is that, what am I gonna do tomorrow? Like, this is reality here in Norway for me now. I'm not complaining, that's not what I'm doing. I'm just kind of sharing the reality with you, because a lot of you guys out there might be in a similar situation where, what am I gonna do tomorrow? This wasn't sustainable. Well, I can't really do the peaches. They're not gonna be calorie dense enough at that level of sweetness. And I know from several years of buying sweetness in peaches in Norway, I know that they're not gonna be on average any sweeter than what they were now. You get a batch here and there, that's amazing, but really, we bought a lot of peaches and they're always more or less not sweet, or at least very just mediocre. So what am I going to do tomorrow? I can't eat the peaches. Strawberries, no, I can't eat strawberries for dinner. They're not calorie dense enough. I can eat the mangoes. But they are $10 a kilo. So at the moment, I'm finding that too expensive. You know, it's just a choice. I could eat all mangoes, and I could also eat dates instead for dinner, which I don't like eating dates as a meal. I could eat bananas, of course. Of course, I could eat bananas. But I already had bananas for breakfast and for lunch. So essentially, I would just have to eat all bananas. Let's conclude it. What's my point? My point is, I gotta eat something cooked tomorrow. Essentially, I gotta eat sweet potatoes. I've been eating sweet potatoes, carrots, potatoes together in a meal most days for the last few months. And today I thought, yeah, the fruit looks good enough now. I'll give the fruit a try. And I'll give it more tries throughout the summer. I'll try again and again and again, because sometimes you get a streak of good fruit in Norway, and you might have like a few weeks even where you're having pretty good, excellent fruit. Do you agree, Matt?
Totally.
Yeah, Matt is over there, by the way, eating his dinner, which is rice, corn, and stuff. And he's getting his calories. Of course he is. You know, there's no doubt. This is going to deliver in terms of calories. Me, on the other hand, I had a kind of frustrating meal experience, obviously, because I had to just sort of take one bite, throw away, take another bite, throw away, and sort of never get started with the meal. I had an epic time with my mangoes, and the avocado was sort of... So I had a sort of mediocre meal experience, and what am I left with now? I'm left with a very, very full stomach, full of food, but I haven't eaten enough calories. I know theoretically I needed about, I don't know, maybe 1,000 calories for dinner now, but nope. But that's okay. That's just how it is. I knew it was a possibility. So I'm talking in favor of cooked food. That's what I'm doing. Not that cooked food is better than fruit, but potatoes, rice, sweet potatoes, they're more consistent. Kind of like bananas are also more consistent. And I consider myself pretty good at finding fruit, and I put a lot of effort into finding the fruit. And right now in Norway, this is it. This is it, and it's not, doesn't cut it. If that's your reality too, I want you to consider that even though fruit is optimal and a fruitarian diet is perfect, and you can do fruit, right? I could eat dates or I could pay a lot for the mangoes. I want you to still consider that by going to the next best thing, which is a diet of cooked starches like roots and tubers preferably. Third best option would be like rice, corn, legumes, that sort of thing. Going down to those foods is a compromise, but at least it's sustainable. At least it's something that you know the food will deliver. You know it's going to be enjoyable, as opposed to something like this, which just ends up not being enjoyable and not giving you the calories. You can do that day after day after day after that, and eventually you'll sort of become frustrated. That's what I did anyway, and start eating something else, which is fine. This meal of peaches and mangoes and whatever is a decent meal for a fruitarian if the fruit is good. But if it's not good, which most of the time it's not, at least not here in Norway, might be different in the United States, might be different in England even, I don't know, but I doubt it. I doubt it's hugely different. But it's really a day-to-day thing. Suddenly you come to the store and it's like something new there, which is great. And the next day it's gone, and you always have to be on the lookout for good fruit. But a backup plan is always good. I don't know even if I want to call it a backup plan. It's just conservatively cooked roots and tubers, and even grains and legumes to a lesser degree, are viable options for human nutrition, optimal human nutrition. It's pretty close, and it's definitely better than eating a unsatisfactory meal of mediocre peaches. Because I'm an active person. I go running, I go biking, I need my calories. If I don't get my calories in, I won't recover as well. My life isn't gonna go as well. I'm not gonna be able to focus, concentrate if I don't get enough carbohydrates, obviously. I won't sleep as well. So I'm not willing to compromise in that sense. I'm not willing to just have a meal of low quality fruit that doesn't satisfy my needs and then just be like, oh. And I don't like having to make up for it either. Like later I will almost certainly have to eat some dates, which doesn't really combine all that well with peaches and strawberries, but I will have to do it because otherwise I won't get those calories, and my performance, my life is gonna suffer. And the price for this meal comes out at around 150 Norwegian kroners. That's probably about like $18 for a single meal. And not only that, but it's a meal that I will have to recover from because it was so huge without giving me enough calories. So I will have to recover from eating that much at once, and I have to eat more later to get enough calories. So that's a lot of money for a meal that doesn't work. On the other hand, Mads had a meal that works for about a third of the price because he was eating rice mainly. And of course, in terms of results, yes, you do get better results from fruit. So if this was 150 kroners, $18, but it actually delivered, it would be sort of a good meal, but it would still be very expensive. And the differences in the results that I would get from eating all fruit and that Mads would get from eating some cooked are very minor. It's not like a huge difference between eating all fruit and eating some cooked simple starches. The difference isn't that big in my experience. So I'm not sure if it's really worth spending that much money on expensive fruit, unless that's what you want, and unless you can find if the fruit is actually good. You could eat all mangoes or something like that. So that's some of the rationale behind eating some cooked food at times. Don't just eat unripe, poor quality fruit just to stay fruitarian. That's not what I would recommend, unless you're on a trip. I'm saying like a mental trip, like you just dig the idea of just eating fruit no matter what. If you dig that, you can do it, but that's not a healthy trip to be on unless you can find quality fruit, which is possible almost anywhere in the world at times. And in the tropics, it's possible almost year round. So thanks for watching. I look forward to sharing more meals with you, showing you what I eat, and I'll also share with you some of the cooked meals that I'm eating. Mats will share some of the cooked foods he's eating. Some of the foods, let's not even call it the cooked foods, it's just some of those foods that need preparation in order to be edible because there's nothing else to really eat, if you know what I mean. It's also a matter of choice, not just like being forced to eat sweet potatoes, but choosing it because the other options are either a third meal of bananas or a huge meal of dates. It's all about choices and preferences and priorities. You can do whatever you want, that's the truth. Alright, thanks for watching. Have a good day. See you later.